Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you are joining us from the first section, welcome back. If you are brand new to our show tonight, good evening. Arnoldo, it's time.
Hey, how are you doing, John?
I'm doing well. I'm excited because we get a chance to chat here tonight. And then we can, for those of you who are wondering, we were going to talk school dances. That was the initial plan, but we decided instead we're going to talk about chickens. The chicken farming's much more...
It is. It's a much bigger boost.
We'll get into that actually a little bit later because there are some aspects of it. Some of you have been following Arnoldo's personal Facebook page where he has been raising his own flock of chickens. But that's
we just lost, unfortunately, one of our favorites to a hawk.
Oh.
Yeah, that's been kind of a rough moment. Oh, by the way, shout outs to the dumbass who automatically put thumbs down. So
somebody did that on the other one too.
Already, like before the stream even started, it's like, oh, I got to do this. Look, I don't care. But the fact that you keep following me around that much, that you got a thumbs down on a video.
I think there's got to be like one or two people who are they do this with all of our videos. They're just
it's like, I wonder what goes through their mind. Like, oh, I'm going to thumbs down their video so good, so hard.
So for those of you who are wondering about the difference between the thumbs up and thumbs down, in the YouTube world, it really doesn't matter.
It's like voting for a president. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter from you. What YouTube looks at is it's engaging. So truthfully, if you really wanted to be mean to us, the most damaging thing you could do is not do a damn thing.
Yeah, if you want to leave nasty comments, by all means, go ahead, because
Please.
You got to watch the ads while you do that.
And while you're writing your nasty comment, every word you use is going to be one of those things that YouTube will give us credit for. So if you go in and say, "Boy, Arnoldo, that speaker review you did, that video sucked," and now all of a sudden, speaker review videos, all these different things are now YouTube's like, "Ooh, wow, this video must contain all these different words. This is awesome."
Exactly. So thanks for hating. Keep it on.
We love our haters. Oh boy, I guess that was kind of there's our first tangent of the
night. That little tangent there. But technically it's Monday. Usually I do my ranch show. Yep. So we're going to kind of
we're just going to put it all together tonight. We're going to talk smack. We're going to talk about some school things. We're going to give you some ideas. We're going to answer some questions, and yeah, it's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
This will be good. This will be good. So let's jump on to the topic for tonight. We wanted to talk about school dances, and of course, are you guys now? Have you finally wrapped up prom season? Or are you still?
No, we still got. I think we have technically one more week, but then we've got another. It's a middle school prom, so I don't really count that as part of our prom season. Sure. But yeah, this is our last weekend. We started on March 12th all the way to May 21st.
Wow, that's just crazy. And of course, for those of you who do not know, Arnoldo is his website. One of his websites is Master School Dances. We've got the links in the description below, so you guys can check that out. And he does like 2 or 3 school dances a year.
Yeah.
And he read in the back of a comic book once on how to do school dances, and that made him an expert. So that's why he's here tonight.
Wham! This comic book, written by some guy who keeps getting thumbs down.
Da-da-da. And now we come full circle back to the haters.
Exactly.
So, school dances to get prepared for next year, and we should have actually been having this talk a month ago.
Yeah,
really. So let's start and look at the things that we should have done in the last 2 months to get ready for next year, and then we'll kind of take it in a progression.
It's come to the point that now my answer for everybody has been, it really depends on where you're at in terms of your business. If you're just first starting out, you need to be hustling 24/7 for the school dances, because right now people are booking proms for 2017, some for 2018. I know this because I've got contracts for 2018. People are booking contracts for homecoming. Homecoming is a little bit more difficult though, because with prom, you can work with the school and choose a date that works for both of you. With prom, homecoming, it's up to the athletic director and them picking a school that they know is probably going to lose the homecoming game. Because really, who wants to go to a homecoming dance where they lost the game? So that's really, where it matters there. Also finding the venue and all of that. But then if you're really, 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 really well established, I'm not going to lie. It's not like I'm bragging, but this is the God's honest truth. 4 schools only, heck, we're established. There isn't one school in the area that doesn't know who we are.
For sure.
So at this point, when I'm having people say, hey, I need a contract for this date, and this date, I just outright tell them, awesome, let me get through prom season. I got you penciled in. Don't worry about it. If you're new, no, that's terrible advice because they're going to hire somebody else. If schools know, wait, because I don't want to give you, a half-assed contract and not have all the paperwork and ducks in a row and all that. And at this point, I mean, I'm going insane. I'm going mentally and physically insane. So they know, okay, just let me get through. There's a few of them where I already sent the contracts, and for some reason they're lost out in cyberspace. So I got to deal with that too. Um, and it basically gets to be where the biggest mistake DJs make is that they think there's seasons, for this kind of thing. Even if you live up north, like for example, Minnesota, where it seems to snow 367 days out of the year. See what I did there? Although I heard it didn't snow today.
No, it didn't. It was actually a beautiful day. I was out mowing lawn today.
I saw like Kat from NLFX posted some like grass and stuff. I'm like, what the hell is that green stuff in Bemidji? Never seen that before. But, because you guys have those seasons, you have a wedding season, you have a corporate season. Here in Florida, we have one season and it's freaking hot. But, we have weddings year round. And of course, the hotter it is, the more outdoor weddings people want to do. But with schools, it doesn't matter where you're at. The students are planning these things all the time. The schools are working on this 24/7 around the clock, including during the summertime. John, when we really first started pushing for schools only, the biggest reason that we booked so many sales overnight was because we worked during the summer. We worked during the winter. When all the other DJs were sleeping, we were making money on that. I'm up till 5 o'clock in the morning, not because I'm a night owl, not because I'm doing cocaine. That's my business. But no, it's because teachers are just waking up at that time.
Yep.
So I know right then and there, I'm going to get an instantaneous response, and they're going to get one too. So that's been part of it. But the other, the thing where it comes down to is that once you get so busy, you really got to work a little bit better with time management. Now, the correct answer on how to fix that and still be able to hustle, because I know that if I worked a little bit more, I really would like to have 40% of Florida schools. Now, that doesn't sound like a huge percentage, but when you realize that there's over 400 high schools in Florida alone, 40% is a really freaking large number of schools.
That is. Holy cats.
That's quite a bit. But for me to do that, I would have to literally be on the grind 24/7. I can't do that right now because I'm still dealing with this prom season.
Mm-hmm.
So the correct solution is to get an employee. Well, I have tons of employees, but none of them do the sales part of it yet because I don't want anybody to do my sales yet. I've taught them to be good techs, good DJs, but teaching somebody to really push the image and the branding, the communication, the calligraphy, whatever the case may be, to really be able to get somebody to understand your branding just through your, everything from facial expressions to what you wear, every little thing. It's impossible to teach that to somebody.
For sure.
So it's basically me being on the lookout for somebody that know, okay, hey, you can do this. Now I am teaching, one of my employees, okay, look, you're going to call schools, you're doing this, you're doing that, the behind the scenes stuff, nothing of the major stuff. Ultimately, I still have to handle sales. But the problem is then that while I'm driving to an event or to a meeting, excuse me, I'm losing, 2 to 4 hours of drive time, round trip, whatever the case may be. So now it's okay. Now I got to pay somebody to basically be my chauffeur so I can work while they drive. Oh, crap. I get car sick. So now it's okay. How am I going to hold my laptop? So it's like one thing after the other. But ultimately, as far as preparing for school dances, it really is a 24-hour, it's around the year type job. Yeah. There is no, okay, school dances are over. Now I can take a break. No, it's okay. Crap. Prom season's over and I'm already working with homecoming and prom. I'm at the point that I can tell my current clients, chill for a minute. Let me get through. And they completely understand.
Sure.
The clients that haven't booked us yet are not going to be as understanding because I don't have the rapport with them. So that's really one of those things is once you get to the point where you're comfortable, take a break. But don't make it too long because you don't know if one of your current schools switches advisors or something happens and they don't book you next year. And if you're a single up, that resting thing's not going to happen anytime soon. So just throw that part out the window.
Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work too well.
So, I was reading some of the comments here. Yeah, as far as the coffee, no, I don't drink coffee.
Cool. So you mentioned that after you're done with prom, then you start working on homecoming and of course prom 2017. Mm-hmm. What kind of things are you doing? Are you scheduling meetings? Are you sending literature out? Are you What?
Four Schools only has built its reputation on one thing. We reward loyalty with loyalty. So that we do this all the way throughout. You know, we have clients that have been with us for years that are still paying a 3-digit price because they've been with us for years now. They're not getting some of the newer packages, of course, but as long as you stay with us, you stay with that same option. And the reason is because I talked about this in one of my last streams is I don't like the cable company method, where you've been with a cable company for like 10 years and
Mhm.
then they do a promo for new customers, just half the price of what you're paying. But, oh no, you can't get that because you're a current customer. I hate that. So that's why I've taken that. That being said, as far as, the dates, my current clients get first pick of the date. So I immediately email my clients, hey, let me know your date right away because I want to take you on before I take somebody else on.
For
Even
sure.
if that somebody else is a higher paying client, I know that may sound backwards to a lot of people, but loyalty is a very rare thing to achieve these days. So once you get there with clients, you don't want to mess that up. So I tell my clients right away, look, let me know your dates. They're the priority. So right now, I'm not looking for new clients. I'm looking to seal every single one of my clients that I have. Then I try to get the clients that I didn't acquire last year with the, hey, how was prom? Did it suck? I bet it did. Why are we not back? And because of Twitter, it makes it really easy. I mean, I have students that I had one student that contacted me and he's like, hey, man, what happened to your DJ? You guys suck this year. I'm like, that's because we didn't do your prom this year.
Right.
They wanted to go cheaper. In this one, it was a new advisor and they thought we cost too much. Whatever. I wasn't worried about it. I offered them a lesser package. They weren't even listening to me. So I'm like, whatever, that's chill. And they said, no, it was really bad. And they even posted photos of the DJ setup. It was just garbage.
Hmm.
Some of the music mixing and all that. I'm like, this is perfect. So I immediately, I saved those videos. And when I present with this school again, I'm going to ask them, how was prom? They're going to tell me it was bad. I know they're going to tell me it was bad. You know why? Because if it was good, they would contact me or they wouldn't have contacted me because I'm the more expensive option.
Yeah.
So if the guy was good and he was cheaper than me, why would they look at the more expensive option? Oh, because that guy sucked. So they once they tell me that, I'm like, okay, well, let's look, thanks to social media, let's look to see what you guys had. And I'm like, okay, let's compare that what you guys had last year. And the students are all going to ask themselves, well, then why did we switch from you? I don't know. You tell me. You know what I mean? I don't like doing the open-ended question, but I want to lead to that point where somebody asks me and then I'll ask them the same things like, why did you guys switch?
Hmm.
You know what? Okay, so it was cheaper, but people left early. So let's go ahead and do the math here. If somebody paid $80 for a ticket, but they left after 2 hours, they basically pay $40 an hour. That means your tickets were more expensive than the previous year, even though you may have lowered or not even changed the ticket prices at all, whatever the case may be. Once I break it down like that, and it sounds like, look, okay, so now if you don't make a change for next year, do you think you're going to sell more ticket sales? Well, no. Okay, so now we need to get on the ball
Yeah.
to make sure that we have that. How are we going to do that? Do we have your homecoming? Okay, great. Now we're going to advertise right after the homecoming dance. No, we don't have your homecoming. Okay, let's get the homecoming dance. Let's do homecoming and prom. Let's do a double book. It's going to save you a little bit of money. It's going to make life easier for me. Let's
Hmm.
make it happen. So that's one of the things that we've really, really been pushing is trying to feed off homecoming and prom.
So okay, we have you're having a conversation with the prom advisor. You're talking, and you get to that point, the homecoming and prom tie-in. But the homecoming's a different advisor. Now, how do you move then for that conversation with the prom advisor to the homecoming advisor? Is the prom advisor giving them your number and recommending them call you, or are you basically being
So
proactive?
it really depends. If they switch advisors, I always ask, hey, can you introduce me? I don't say give me the new advisor's number, that or email. That's stupid because then all of a sudden you email somebody and you're just a solicitor. Doesn't matter if you did the last person or last prom for them. If you don't know who that person is, you're a solicitor. Plain and simple. And a lot of DJs have disagreed with me on this, but they're wrong. Otherwise, I wouldn't be driving them out of business. And I'm sorry, that's the truth. But hey, the truth hurts. The honest thing and the way that I believe it is if you contact anybody, I don't care who it is, if they don't know you and your immediate first email is, hi, I'm a vendor and this is what I have to offer, it's spam, it's solicitation. They didn't ask to be contacted. So with that train of thought in mind, I asked the previous advisor, hey, can you introduce me to the new person? Just put in a nice word, but introduce me, copy them in. That way it doesn't look like spam. And they do. And that has worked flawlessly every single time. Otherwise, sometimes they don't respond at all. When we do this, they reply every single time. But then if I'm at the meeting already, I'll ask them, hey, who's your homecoming advisor? Are they in class? Can you bring them over here and let's kill two birds with one stone? Everything that I'm going to say for prom is not going to apply for homecoming, but they're going to know who we are. They're going to get an idea. They're going to see how I interact with the students that are there, and it's going to help build a little bit of that. When they see the marketing plans, everything else, and how homecoming can help stir prom ticket sales, and how we work at the beginning of the school year to help bring those ticket sales up, it's going to get that. Now, is that 100% foolproof? Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Sometimes that advisor may have a teacher they've built rapport with. Okay, great. And I probably could sit there and pick apart and get that into that school. But the time and energy that I spent trying to get to this one school, I could book 3 or 4 others. So
Yeah.
there's a threshold that I have until I say, okay, I'm not going to bother with this school. I'll get them later. They'll eventually come crawling or coming or calling, whatever the case may be. And I've had all sorts of scenarios, but I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to get too pushy because I can use that energy towards other schools. And when I say crawling, is I had one school that they were going to hire a cheaper DJ. Guess what? He bailed out, not because he couldn't show or didn't show up or because he took a more expensive client. Oh, because they were going to be at one of the most expensive hotels in the area and he doesn't have insurance. Huh. Funny how that works out. And more hotels are pushing for it. I actually just had a conversation with a district because they were asking, I know there's a tangent, but they were asking for driver's insurance. I'm like, why? I'm like, look, we have it, but why? Well, it's a liability. If you hit something, or whatever the case may be, damage your property, your car, you got to pay for. I'm like, oh, okay. 2 questions. I'm not doing this to be a smartass, but because you guys should know. 1, do you get the insurance for every single person that drives into your school? No. Well, they're not vendors. No, I get that. But guess what? Commercial insurance, car insurance does not protect your property. It's vehicular damage. If you run into the side of a school with your car, the insurance is going to pay for a portion of it. But guess what? Most DJs, and by most, I mean pretty much all of them, none of them have commercial car insurance.
For sure.
Okay, my personal car, now hell no, I don't have commercial car insurance. The work vehicles, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you're renting a U-Haul and you back it up into the gym and you smash into the door? Guess what U-Haul's not covering? Guess what Penske's not going to cover? Mm-hmm. So, they're like, well, then that's what, you have liability. Yes, we have liability. That's what you should be asking for. But did you know that DJ or liability does not cover half of these setups that you guys are hiring for? Yes. And I told them outright, it's like, look, if your DJ's out there setting lights and hanging speakers and screens, their little cheap DJ insurance doesn't cover it. They may be covered, but that's for a DJ performance, not for overhead rigging, not for electrical apparatus or some fancy name they have for that. And they're like, oh, really? Yeah. So once we got done with that conversation, they're like, well, we've got a lot of schools that, may have invalid contracts. I'm like, send them my way because we have the necessary insurance. We have a very high aggregate on our insurance. Oh, and we have workman's comp, which nobody else in the area has. Nobody. And that really gets their attention. But basically, it's 3 ways. It's either, obviously, you call directly. If you have no connections to that school, you use a past or previous connection. I never delete any contacts off my phone. I have homecoming advisors from years ago because people bounce around. You never know what's going to happen. If I call a school and they say, oh, so-and-so is the advisor, I'm like, oh, crap, they were the advisor from 4 years ago. Great. Let me shoot them a text, touch base, and go from there. And if you really want to get into the market, just call the district, call procurement. They don't make those decisions, but a lot of times they can give you some inside knowledge that will really help you out.
Arnoldo, we're going to take a quick break here for some sponsor spots. I want to get when we come back, I want to talk about we talked about homecoming and prom. There's other dances that the schools host, and I want to talk about those in just a second. So, gang, we'll be right back. These are our sponsors for summer 2016.
Transition.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
All right, we are back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the sponsors, our big segue. We got fancy. Woohoo. Again, show our sponsors some love because they are with us for the summer of 2016. Yay! Arnoldo, I wanted to talk about other dances. We've touched a little bit about tying the homecoming and the prom together. Now, up in our neck of the woods, we have things called snow days dance in January. Some schools have homecoming in January up here. And then we have the Sadie Hawkins dance that kind of goes around. So what other dances do you have in your market down there? And how do you find out more information about those to be trying to book those?
Usually you have the SGA, the Student Government Association. They either put a lot of those dances on or they know who does. The SGA usually is in charge of homecoming for most of the places. And y'all can say, oh, not in my backyard, but SGA goes to these things called the National Association of Student Council. They have the one for each individual state. So I've talked to schools, just all over the nation, but all over the world. And these kids are in charge of a lot. And when it comes to, the Sadie Hawkins, we've done quite a bit of those. We have a lot of winter dances. We don't see as many down here because people just aren't vibing them. They're not very well attended, or when they are, things get really expensive for them real fast. So, we have a different pricing scale for that. And the schools understand, look, what we're charging for this is not what we would charge for homecoming or prom, because homecoming and prom, higher demand, higher pay. You're going to call me for a dance in August. Yeah, you're absolutely going to get a big break on that. If you're spending, 10 grand on homecoming, another 10 grand on prom, yeah, you're going to get that winter dance for a heck of a lot less, and in some cases, we've even donated our time. A school that they're doing a special needs prom. They book with us big every single year. And I'm talking to them like, look, let me see what I can do to get that to you as close to free as possible. In the long run, aside from the fact that it's good karma and it's something good, it does help us get into foot in door for other things. Military balls, I think, is a part where we miss the ball out on a lot. No pun intended. Just because it's a time issue. I don't have enough time to go after homecoming and prom and these other dances.
Sure.
But I am training a staff to go after these things and start contacting the schools. Hey, get in touch with the sergeants. Start asking your RO, each school's JROTC when their military ball is, and if it's the commander or who's in charge of that. And then we go from there. It's a lot easier once you get in the first couple of them. Say, hey, when is your next convention coming up? Look, you don't even have to know what convention they're talking about. Just ask, when's your next convention coming up? And you're going to learn so freaking much, seriously, if anybody doesn't think that these teachers talk behind, about schools behind everybody's back, they do. The vendors, they talk about which vendors they love, which vendors suck, and some have given me some, now I don't want to say inside info, but hey, this is what, we're hearing about your company. So that way I can improve our services. And I tell people like, look, I need to hear the bad stuff. I already know we're good. That's why we have such a huge percentage of Florida schools. But I want to know why people aren't booking us. And, a few of us, the schools are very honest and tell us that. And that's really helped us out a lot.
Right.
And then the next question is, okay, great. Now, these other dances, how can we get in it? And sometimes we're not contacted because they see our price tag for homecoming and prom, and they think that's what we would charge for one of these other dances. And I tell them, no, we'll give you a much better rate, but that's not the rate you're going to get for homecoming and prom. So don't try booking a homecoming or a winter dance for, let's say, $1,500 with, a nice light show, and then think that, you're going to get that same $3,000 setup for only $1,500 for homecoming. Mm-hmm. That's not how it's going to work in that. As far as snow dances, we don't have snow in Florida, unless you count like dandruff at Walmart. But for the most part, we do get a lot of winter themed dances, and those dances have always been put on by the Student Government Association.
Yeah. Very cool. Student government. That's something you guys definitely remember that, because that is big. We don't call it that up here in Minnesota, but I think I've heard in other states that student government is. Well,
you have Student SGA, Student Government Association. You also have, the Association of Student Council, Student Government.
Student Council.
That's Student Council is really the big one. I've noticed that the term SGA is starting to move more and more up north, and it's even being used nation or worldwide. The last NASC, the National Association of Student Councils, I don't worry about getting the bid for the big contract, the audio, video. I'm not worried about that. If somebody wants to contact me about it, no problem. But usually they're right in the middle of my busy season. However, what I do push for is to play music during the cafeteria. And I'm not going to charge for that, because why would I charge to perform in front of every freaking school in my state? Hell no. So, really want to be part of that. But at the last NASC, it was great because it allowed me to really get some more information for the Master School Dances stuff. But I even got to talk to schools in other parts of the country. Hey, DJs, guess what? They're saying the same thing that I'm hearing here. Well, we have the money, but DJs suck. I mean, I talked to one school from a very affluent area, and I know who the DJ is, so I'm not going to say his name. But he always kept telling me, oh, schools in my area don't have the money. And I actually ran into that school, and I didn't say, hey, I know you're a DJ. But I'm like, let me ask you guys this, just out of the blue. How much money do you guys have budgeted for homecoming? They had about $50,000 budgeted for homecoming.
Ooh.
Okay, between the venue and the decorations and the DJ. And that's how much did you spend on the DJ? It was 3 numbers. Okay. I'm like, why? Because we haven't found a DJ that can do what we want. You know, we don't like the DJs. They had contacted our company about flying up there. I'm like, guys, it's going to cost you a lot of money to fly us up there. Unless you want to choose a really, really early Friday or late Friday, there's not much that we can do with that. But that's the thing. And I'm not trying to sit there, ooh, we're the great, everybody else sucks. But if somebody keeps saying, oh, not in my backyard, not in my backyard. No, not in your business planning, your current state of performance, you're going to get that kind of money. Yeah. You can't just say, and again, all respect to Mark Farrell, you can't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to charge this much. No. If the client thinks you're worth this much, the client's only going to pay you this much. If you want to be worth this much, you need to step up your game to be able to charge this much. Yeah. I can't go there and sell my 2012 Kia and say, well, I have a nice custom stereo. I personally drove it. So I'm going to charge $100,000 for it. No, it doesn't work out that way. Why would it work like that with our service? Yes, we're a service, not a product, but the point is still the same. You got to have the visual proof, the visual bang, and the performance and the follow-up to really be able to command those higher end price tags.
Cool. We've got some questions here that we're going to jump to, and then
yes, we do.
And then I want to see. I don't think there's anything else. So let's jump into. We're going to do the tagging one, then we're going to go back to the staff member and talk about that because that's going to bridge into more of our rant side of the show tonight. The best way to tag Instagram photos for proms and school dances. Is there a recommendation?
Oh, absolutely. And this is one that I pull my hair every time. For 2 reasons. One, I tell the schools, use a generic hashtag for your school. I don't mean, like, let's say, for example, I just did Lake Nona High School, right? And they did Nona Prom 16. Okay. But at the same time, I push for Nona Prom. And I tell them that every time because Nona Prom 16 is only good for that year. Mm-hmm. We want Nona Prom. So that way, the next round of people that were following that, I can easily find them and say, hey, guys, don't forget about prom. It's going to be on this date and all that. And those hashtags get used again and again and again. If Twitter sees that, it seems they get a little bit more favorable as to which tweets show up first, especially when you're searching locally. Mm-hmm. The one that kills me is when I have a school that uses a generic hashtag like OHS prom. Yeah, because there aren't a million other OHS proms in the U.S.
Yeah, there's only one, maybe two.
You don't want to use, very generic stuff. You don't want to use common terms like, we have a school Seminole. Well, there's 2 Seminoles in Florida. There's 2 Freedom High Schools in Florida. There's like 3 Ridges in Florida. Mm-hmm. So you want to try, you want to kind of figure out what's around. So we're very proactive when we tell the school, make this your hashtag. A lot of times they listen, sometimes they don't, whatever. We make it work, no big deal. But we really push, use this hashtag, and here's why.
Good thoughts there. I hadn't thought about that.
And of course, your company name and your DJ name and make it into a sentence. So mine's like, hashtag DJ Crazy Ace with hashtag for schools only and hashtag and then, so-and-so hashtag prom and then the hashtag, their official hashtag. Because, we want prom to pop up. We want all these little things to pop all over the place because, like, for example, we have a WordPress plugin that allows people to do Pinterest. We want students to pin the photos. We want them to share it on Facebook. DJs, this is not permission for you to steal my photos, okay? Let me just put that one out there. Yeah. But we want students to share the photos, so we really encourage that. So by using some of those generic hashtags, we do see a much higher following on that. And again, even if a lot of people that are following us aren't from or from our local area, it doesn't matter. Those higher numbers mean that you're going to get a favorable bump within the actual social media platform.
Which is the important thing when it comes to social media.
Exactly.
For those of you who would like to get in touch with Arnoldo, the links are in the description below the video, so you guys can go and check that out and hit those and check out more of the Master School dances and different things. And we'll just shut that off because I don't know who that would be.
I was prank phone calling you.
Yeah.
We should totally do it. It's like, hey, John, what are you doing? Huh, I'm in a live stream. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Me too.
No, I think it's one of those. It looks like one of those phone numbers that I've got unknown phone numbers blocked, but I think it was one of those numbers that attention seniors, you've been selected to receive a help. I've fallen and can't get up.
Oh, I got that too the other day. I'm like, it was on my 30th birthday too. I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm old now.
I'm somewhat, and I'm old somewhat.
And on the hashtag thing, the other reason it drives me nuts is because literally I'll be at a lunch jam, and I'll make it very clear. For those of you guys wondering why the heck I'm here, my name's DJ Crazy Ace. I'm here to talk about your prom, get you guys all excited, and let you know that you can request music using this and this hashtag. Not even a minute later. Well, what are you here for? Bruh. Come on. Or I repeated one like today again and again, use this and this hashtag. And honestly, today's lunch gym was incredible. We had a blast. But now one guy, hey, what's the hashtag that we use? Dude, I just said it like 10 times. Like, I even turned off the music, made everybody take their cell phones out. All right, y'all, start tweeting this. What's the hashtag? Pay attention, boy.
Okay, so now we're going to go into our more politically incorrect, but we're going to bridge off that to staying in the school dances. You've seen this, I've seen this, where the school decides that they're going to hire a faculty member. My favorite is hiring a janitor to be the DJ because...
Wait, what?
The janitor.
Huh.
A janitor, yes. I've got a couple of schools that hired the janitor because I guess the janitor's cool. Anyway... And no offense to anyone out there who does janitorial work. My stepfather does that and did that, and life is good. But, you just wouldn't imagine the janitor being the coolest one in the school to go DJ the dance.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I don't know how that marketing material, goes.
Yeah,
Tune in to generic schools prom, whatever their name's going to be. We're DJ Spick and Span. I'm like, wait a second, I'm Hispanic. That was offensive. No, I don't quite know how that would work. The DJ Lysol.
Where he'll be cleaning up the ones and twos all night long.
Dropping the bass and then picking it back up because littering is uncool.
That one's really good.
Thank you.
So, is there something, I mean, schools do this now, and I'm sure you've had situations where they've done that and their dances. I mean, I've got a school right now that they do all their other dances, but the one that I do are done by staff. And they're wondering why, when they get to my dance, that first off, the kids don't know how to handle themselves at a school dance. Secondly, is the numbers every year have been going down and down and down with all their dances. And now literally a third of their, it's a third of what it was 5 years ago when they used to hire me for every dance. Mm-hmm. How can a person get that across that this is a bad idea to do that?
Before I give my answer, I'm going to give everybody about 10 seconds to turn their volume knobs down just a little bit more. If you're wearing headphones, you might want to take those off.
A second.
Wait.
Volume. Okay.
We good?
My volume's down.
What the hell is the school thinking with that? I don't quite freaking understand. It drives me nuts. We're going to get to the legal side of that an issue. But I have so many schools telling me, well, our ticket sales keep declining and declining. So that's what we're spending less. Yeah, we know it's a vicious downward cycle. Why are they declining? Who's your DJ? Oh, we don't have we have a teacher. Well, duh. I mean, look, I love my teachers, okay? I love my teachers in high school, but I'm not going to go to a freaking dance if my teacher's spinning, okay? And yeah, I have DJs of mine that are substitute teachers who work in the school system, and I'm not going to have them work their own school. Why? Because the students don't want to see the same guy who just freaking gave a 200 freaking minute homework assignment on Pythagorean theorems be the same guy dropping the bass. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to go to school with the DJ. You're in detention. Seriously. And again, I'm going to get to the legal side of that in a second because there is a lot of stuff you guys need to know. So real quick, there's two problems we have. Problem number one is teachers DJing the dance. One, that's a conflict of interest. Answer me this. Teachers are getting paid federal or state salaries, right? And I say federal because we have federal funds that come in, right?
Yes.
They're on the clock at these, whenever they're on school grounds, even when they're on chaperoning, which is very unfair, but that's the way that it is. So how are they taking money from the students because the student raised funds to pay for stuff when they're already on the clock to begin with? I mean, think about that. If a teacher's doing a homecoming, it's on school property. They can say, well, they're volunteering their time. Okay, but they're salaried employees by the state. So now they're taking student funds to fund their own business. I know this because we just had an issue with a couple of companies that are, not just locally, but that are doing that. I contacted the school or the school board. They're like, yeah, no, they can't do that. They can't work for us as a vendor and be a teacher at the same time. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to ask the individual counties, just call procurement, don't call the school, and say, let me ask you this. You guys want me to have liability insurance? You want me to get this? You want me to get this namby-pamby crap and over here and then, and then after I spend all this money, my prices have to go up. So the schools can't afford us or whatever the case may be. So they wind up having a teacher. Explain to me how somebody, just because they work for you guys, can take all the liability. Now, the school may say we have liability insurance for that event. The county's not going to go for that. And this is my personal experience, but every county has told me, no, they cannot do that. Because if somebody gets hurt, who's responsible for that exactly?
Yep.
You think the school wants to deal with that? No, they don't want to deal with it. They want to pass that off to the first vendor that they can. Now, in a hotel or, whatever the case may be, yeah, hell no. Their insurance is not going to work at a hotel. In the gym, I really doubt that's going to work. And then when they're letting students do it, oh, okay. So now you're going to let students control the freaking playlist. And then you're wondering why every 4-letter word came on board. Well, we just don't have the money. I get you don't have the money, but guess what? Until you stop, that cycle is going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't want to hear that crap of, oh, well, the students don't have a lot of money in this area, blah, 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 because I can open your damn blinds and see a freaking Range Rover parked outside. I kid you not. Yeah. I keep telling that story. It happens every time. I had one school where I was really trying to push for it, and we finally booked them specifically because of that. Because well, this is from a very, this is not an affluent area. This is, a really, poor area. A lot of students here on free lunches.
Yep.
None of these cars are older than mine. I was driving a 2001 Ford Taurus, and this dude here has a Corvette.
Yep.
Okay. And I point at everybody's shoes. You got Jordans? You got Jordans? This dude, I remember, freaking blew my mind. Okay. Michael Jacobs purse. Like, what the hell? You freaking got like a $200-300 purse. You're going to tell me you can't afford $25 tickets to homecoming? And I told him straight out, it's not that you guys can't afford it. It's because your homecomings are so bad, you don't want to pay for them. Exactly. Am I wrong?
Yep.
And they're like, well, yeah, we don't like them. Okay, well, if you guys can't convince yourselves to pay for your own dance, how are you going to convince the rest of the student body? That's where I start leading into the lunch jams. I'm like, look, here's the thing. You got to work with me and I'll work with you. Okay. I will scale down a package to fit your needs without breaking our brand, because I'm not going to sit there and just, take a discount off because you guys wanted to go cheap. I will work with schools. Okay. But you got to work with me.
Yeah.
We're going to do the lunch jam. We're going to do this. And we do things my way. You will sell more ticket sales. But you got to do it down to a T to be able to get this what you want. After that, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it does work. But the whole thing about teachers, DJ, and again, I love teachers, okay? And there is one teacher that I work with, and he does all the drama stuff. So they do their own lighting and all that. But you know what? That's not for homecoming or for prom. They hire a vendor for that. But if they have, like, for example, a school play where they need extra lighting, they rent the lighting. They set it up. You know why? Because they have the insurance for that. But that insurance doesn't cover for them to DJ their own events or whatever the case may be. And this advisor, and he's really good with lighting. I'm actually waiting for him to say, hey, I want to work for you because I'd love to hire him. But guess what? I'm not going to put him to work for his own school because, again, that's the conflict of interest there. So that's been my problem. And again, there's zero disrespect to any teachers there, because I love my teacher clients and friends and everything else, but they know they have enough crap to worry about than to having to worry about another teacher. And then what happens if that teacher messes up? Okay. So now they're going to hear every single day from the students, dude, you suck. And now they're going to spot him even worse for ruining the prom. I mean, seriously, people don't think about that. But if you ruin prom, students are going to hate you. You want to teach them the next day. Hey, look, I know I just ruined your prom. Here's your end of year exams. Have fun. It's terrible.
I actually did a post prom for a school that had a teacher who did the prom. And the kids had set their expectations so incredibly low. It was like a group of people who had been, like best way to describe it was like a neutered group. They just didn't have any. They didn't expect much. They figured they were going to get some background music. And
you say a neutered group?
A neutered group. That's right.
Which bathroom did they use?
See, they can use that new one.
Okay.
That new third bathroom. But it was the most incredible thing. Prom dances, you and I have seen our crowds bouncing off the wall and going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And here was this group of kids that the only thing they participated in is a couple of slow dances, and then they did like cha-cha slide. And I watched for probably about 45 minutes. And it's like, did these kids do? No, that's pretty much it. They just stood around the outside in this darkened room and talked. It's like, wow, that sucks. But expectations were so low from the kids.
Yep.
They thought it was good.
I've actually had a lot of schools. It's kind of a little bit of tangent, but it kind of goes with what you just said. Where I get in there, and they're not reacting to anything at all at first. And I have a discussion with my staff. If they're not used to us, they don't know what to expect. So they're just going to come in expecting the same boring dance. That's why I really, really like to push the lunch jam, because it gets them all excited. Otherwise, they're just buying their tickets just to hang out with their friends, or because, they're socially pressured to attend these dances. So, whenever we get on the microphone, they're like, whatever. But after about an hour of really earning their trust and pushing it, and without shilling too many wares, I talk extensively about building trust and rapport while on the dance floor.
For sure.
But once you get past that, you're eating off the palm of your hand. And the student or the admin's reaction every time is like, oh, wow, you have these students, reacting like never before. I'm like, well, yeah, that's because, we connect with them. We work hard with that. And again, going back to that teacher thing, that's another difficult thing as a teacher, to be able to play certain songs. Now, I'm not saying, oh, we're going to push the limit and play this in the song, but I can tell you right now, even the edited version, no teacher's going to play Kodak Black or any of these, popular artists, because, parent walks in and they hear, students yelling, I don't with you, they're playing Big Sean. It could be the edited version, but they're not hearing that. They're hearing that. And they're like, oh my God, that's a teacher DJing. Well, then what are they telling my kids during school?
Exactly.
There's a huge liability, and schools don't see that. All they see is, okay, we're saving money. And I get that, because we've all done it. Everybody gets blind when they see, okay, I can save this much money. I can give you several examples right now in my backyard where saving money has screwed me. By the way, guys, let me tell you something. Wood screws, if you're trying to hold chicken netting down, get the wood screws with the big washers that still wrap all the way around. Otherwise, it's going to break off. But anyways, see, we all learned something new here. But, once I sit down and I have this conversation, and I tell the teacher, like, look, I totally get it. Let me just be honest with you, if you don't mind. And that's, because I get a lot where we do the prom, but, they do their own homecoming. That's been the biggest one. A lot of them I've broken ground with. Some of them I'm still pushing, or I wait till just the right moment.
Yep.
But the most important part is you can't just go in there and start educating. Nobody wants to be educated. 0 people want to be told what to buy from a vendor, because even if you're telling the truth, everybody's always going to be skeptical. Okay. I'll give you an example. You're never going to see an It Works or Plexus seller say, no, this stuff didn't work. They're going to tell you all the great things. Well, no, duh, because they're selling the product. Okay, well, that's how it is, with DJ stuff, right? I'm not going to, no one's going to say, listen, you don't need a DJ. You could do this and this instead to make money. So I tell them, the teachers outright, do you mind if I'm 100% honest with you? I'm going to be very candid. Please keep this between us. And if they say yes, they pretty much invited themselves to one of my rants. And I tell them just outright, it's like, look, this is a terrible idea. And here's why it's a terrible idea. And I'm not saying this because, I want you to go with me. And yes, I want you to go with me. But I don't care if you go with my biggest competitor. Do not do the dance yourself. It's a bad idea. You're going to lose money, even more than if you used the crappiest DJ in town. And you're putting yourself as a liability. And I honestly see this not just as a vendor, but as a parent. I'm going to be a lot more forgiving that if it's a vendor that screws up than if it's a teacher that screws up.
For sure.
That's the big problem. And really, it could be the coolest teacher in the world, but if you're sitting there and you try to tell students, put your hands up, make some noise. No, you're the teacher. I'm going to keep my hands down. I'm not going to make some noise, and I'm going to twerk. Plain and simple. I mean, it's, I've worked with this in my school, with the schools that I, work with. When the admin gets up on stage and they don't say anything, they're just there and all that, they just to show that there's authority up there.
Yep.
No issues. But if they start getting on the microphone, hey, don't do this, don't do that, students get worse because they want to spite admin, because you know what? That's what every youth does. I believe there are several movies based on that.
There was one.
Yeah.
There was that one.
There's that one movie about youth rebelling against the adults.
Establishment.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to point this out. Whenever Arnoldo comes and says, "Can I be honest with you?" I've learned that is the opening for. If you say yes, you've just opened the door for a rant.
It is, and I think. I mean, I don't get on the. I don't. Please don't ever think I yell at my clients the way I yell at DJ. Screw you guys. But no, I mean, my clients. I'm very.
I love you, but screw you guys.
I'm very blunt with my clients, and I tell them, look, I'm not doing this, to hurt feelings, but it's the honest truth. This is a terrible idea. One of my best clients, and I don't mean best like, oh, I love you more than everybody else, but they really work with me to help me out with certain things as far as understanding the market. They're part of my focus group. They'll even change their homecoming date specifically so that we're available. They've just been incredible. The reason that I booked that client, one of the biggest ones, aside from the fact of our presentations, because we told them, no, that's a terrible idea. Mm-hmm. They wanted to do the DJ in the center of the dance floor. Now, that's cool in concept, right?
Yeah.
Trusting in the middle, DJ in the center. I'm like, and I told them, guys, that's an incredible concept. It's a terrible one. And they're like, what? Like all the other DJs said it's great. Of course, other DJs are saying it's great. It's just going to double your cost. Now you're going to need to have literally 3 times the amount of sound, not because of volume, but because of coverage. Because you can't just have 2 or 4 speakers, because now you've got ultimate, all these sides to a circle. But now you got to have twice as many lights. Also, someone's going to be staring at my butt the entire time. I don't know which one of y'all that's going to be, but it's not going to be pretty. And I was making a joke because, I eat Taco Bell before the event starts. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to be behind me. But, they don't think about that kind of thing because all they're hearing from the other DJs and production companies, oh, this is great.
And around. It'll be awesome, just like the big bands do.
Look, the one company that pitched that, not to this school, but to another one, doesn't even have the capability of doing that. I'm still trying to figure out. They were just going to put the stage in the middle of the floor. I'm like, what? And I asked the admin, I'm like, because I meet with them afterwards. I'm like, guys, I really want to push the middle of the dance floor thing. Unless there's an admin in the middle of the floor, if a student does anything to jump up on stage and gets hurt, we now have 4 different areas we need to worry about versus just the main entrance.
Yeah, for sure.
Really bad idea. And even if you don't go with us, please, for the love of God, do not do it in the center. And they were sold on it. They not just because of the liability thing, but the students never realized, oh God, this is going to cost us more money. Mm-hmm. And for what? Oh, we have a DJ in the middle. Mm-hmm. And one student brought it up. Oh, wait, so now we won't be in the center. I'm like, yeah, exactly. So I'm not encouraging students to twerk or whatever the case may be, but they want to get in the middle. They want to jump. We get 1 or 2 that always crowd surf, but the middle of the dance floor, that's where it's happening. That's where everybody's dancing. That's where all the energy is. Guess what? You just broke that up. Now, we have some schools where the admin want something in the middle of the dance floor to break up that circle, and that's fine. And we have big setups with trusting that we can do. Mm-hmm. But don't put your DJ in the center. That's just weird.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Not a good idea. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about, we're going to bridge off just a little bit. I wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about this because this was a hot topic last week on the different chat boards on Facebook. We're back once again talking about Chinese lights coming across, people ordering these things. Today on Facebook, there was a big post going on about people ordering a moving head fixture from AliExpress, which if you're not familiar with it, Alibaba and AliExpress are a couple of where you can buy. Alibaba is more buying in bulk for a retailer kind of thing, or wholesale we'll call it. And AliExpress is like a knockoff of Amazon. Arnoldo, we're back to that same tired argument because, hey, I can buy that same light. It looks just like the light that I can buy from so-and-so. They just put their label on it.
And these are the same DJs that are bitching about, MP3s kill the music industry because everything's like really cheap now. And that's making too many cheap DJs. Well, screw you if you're buying from AliExpress. That's the official answer. Screw all of you. Okay, so here's the thing.
I thought this was a short rant.
Apparently it's frozen. Video is frozen.
Oh, it should still be going. I wonder if you need to. I just had to refresh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, everything looks good here. Maybe it's because I wasn't moving for a second while you were talking about Chinese fixtures, so people were kind of freaked out. Okay, hang on. Let's. I guess we need to wait for a second.
Yeah, maybe it's just a second here. Are we back?
Hey, now's a good time to do a commercial from the sponsor that paid the least. Nope.
Yeah, refresh, guys, if you.
Who's this?
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Jim says we're good. Who is frozen? Could be me.
Yeah, we're back and forth on it right now. It's showing that we must have a YouTube outage because I can see, as you know, with Wirecast, it can show you.
Yeah, YouTube has been awful the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like Wirecast will say, "Oh, you have a great signal," and YouTube's like, "No." LOL, JK. Okay, so that's for you, Shaney. But anyways, okay, so as far as the whole AliExpress thing, in case you guys missed my rant, screw all of you. Don't be coming up to me with that. Oh my God, MP3s are making the industry with so many wannabe DJs and it's ruining us. Well, guess what? Listen, screw all of you. You're buying crap off China. You're doing the same thing, but with gear. And guess what? Gear, unlike music, is visual. Okay. Anybody could bootleg music or whatever the case may be and become a DJ. Well, now anybody can just sit there and buy a cheap light off China. Now, if you think that all companies do is put stickers on it, you're right, but they also do a lot more. But it really depends on the company. I'm not going to mention anybody because, I know for sure who does and who doesn't, but that's not my place. But the big companies, the ones that we DJs know and work with, those big companies, ADJ, Chave, Elation, Martin, whatever the case may be, they don't just sit there and say, okay, I want this light and this light and you. They're not adopting puppies and putting little name tags on them, people. Okay. Now, the factory may say, okay, we have this light. Sorry, I just offended half of China. But okay, we have this light. It's good for you because that's what they tell me all the time in these damn emails. And then, let's say like ADJ will be like, no, it's a good concept, but you're going to change this and this and this and this, and then we'll consider it. And then they go back and forth. In a lot of cases, they'll be like, no, we want this and this and this made. Now, for people that think that all products are made in China is the same factory, no. If you guys ever get a chance to go to China, it's on my bucket list, but I've been told multiple times, I've had a chance to see it live. These factories, the ones that are selling directly to you, these are not huge factories like the major players are using. This is literally in somebody's shed. I kid you not. It could be like 20 people just cranking out these little cheap lights. Okay. And they're using cheap components. Now, a lot of these components are made from the same factories, just like they spread them out. And John, remind me to tell you the Ram story in a second. Okay. But the big manufacturers are speccing the lights out, or in some cases, they're designing it. I'm going to give you Elation as an example. The Midicon Pro, that was designed in-house. The ADJ, the Wi-Fi bridge, incredible product. That was designed and programmed in-house. Yes, it was made in China. Yes, there was a factory there. But ADJ operates that factory. That is their factory, and they specifically spec these things out. Now, some other companies, ADJ, whatever the case may be, there may be other lights like, okay, that looks really similar. But it doesn't mean that it's the same one. Because if you guys think that just because the lights look exactly the same, that all y'all with a little white facade and your little white scrim on your speakers, then it must all be the same flipping DJ company because they all look the same. You see how stupid that sounds? If a Bright says, well, that guy's got the two little white triangle things and the facade. So you guys are the same with that company, right? No, that company's crap. No, you guys must be the same because you look exactly the same. No, it's different. We have better gear inside. We really put a lot of work into our brand. We really do a lot of, we do better with the performance. No, you guys look the same. I'm going to go hire them. They're cheaper.
It's just
you like this?
stickers.
Like this Bright is the dumbass. Well, guess what? If you call the Bright a dumbass, so are you. Because you think that because this little cheap light from AliExpress looks just like this light. And you guys don't find it funny that these lights come out after the major players put them out? You know why? Because these people that run the factories are like, oh, these DJs are so stupid. Let's make the light look exactly the same. We're going to bootleg it. All right? I mean, come on. Everything's been bootlegged for a long time. I mean, there's freaking generic versions of popular songs on iTunes because people are so stupid. They're going to spend 99 cents as opposed to $1.29. Oh, well, there we go. This is the same one. And now all of a sudden you hear generic Minaj singing a song. It's like, wait a second. That's not Nicki. No, fool, because you bought it at 79-cent bin at Walmart. What the hell did you think was going to happen? I mean, everything's getting bootleg. Alcohol was bootleg. Cuban cigars are bootleg. Drugs are bootleg. Everything's bootleg. Why don't you think lights are being bootlegged? Of course they are, because they know chumps like you guys on AliExpress are going to buy them. And then when they break, China's going to tell you, screw you. And if you guys don't believe me, there was one, Johnny, you were part of that live stream where we talked about the Chinese factory that told the guy, if you want a quality service, you want a Martin quality, why the hell would you come to us? We don't sell it to end users, so you need to stop buying directly from us.
Yep.
And there was a Chinese factory specifically saying that they'll sell to DJs because DJs are dumb enough to pick it up. And I'm sorry, but that's just the honest truth. If you're buying directly, guess what? You're dumb enough to pick it up. Now let's talk components. And I'm going to mention a RAM story because this kind of leads to that. Do you remember years ago, back when SD RAM was a thing, 32 megabytes, 64 megabytes of RAM, that was high end?
Oh, yeah. That was big stuff.
Yeah. Do you remember how all of a sudden when it started getting to like 128, RAM prices skyrocketed halfway through?
Mm-hmm.
You remember there was a huge earthquake in Japan? Or no, I'm sorry, not Japan, not China.
Yeah.
Taiwan or Hong Kong.
Yeah, there was an earthquake that ruined some of the manufacturing.
Yeah, it ruined the one manufacturer of every freaking RAM chip. It was like mind-blowing. I think it was like one or two factories. There was like two little small things or whatever, a couple of them. And you're talking Samsung, PNY, all these companies, they were buying the chips from these people. Now, of course, they, programmed the chips, but as far as the physical chip itself, it all came from the same place. So when that factory went out, boom, everything went crazy. Now, that's not saying, oh, well, the same chip that you're going to get in PNY RAM is going to be the same that you get in this generic RAM, whatever the case may be, right? Because just like lighting companies, they spec it out. I will tell you that really, if you guys are spending more than the average price on RAM, you're doing yourself a disservice. But that's a whole different topic altogether. But just like that, that's how lighting works, right? You may have a lighting factory that designs for a major lighting company here, and there may be some shared components. I don't mean like major stuff like PCBs, but let's say, for example, you have your caps, your capacitors. And they may be shared, but it doesn't mean they're using the same factory. It just means they're using the same supplier capacitors because that factory assembles the lights. They make their own PCBs components, but they're not sitting there making their own electronics. Mm-hmm. Now, that leads us to the next topic of caps. I don't know if you guys ever had a capacitor just basically give up on you where it swells and poofs up, like dry caps and all that. Yep. If you guys know what I'm talking about, there's such a thing as a good cap and a really crappy cap is a capacitor. And they can come from the same factory. So if you have the same factory, and let's say they sell to this company here, okay? But they also sell their own generic version of that light because that factory, specs it out. And you're like, well, I could save money by buying from this factory. Okay, well then what they're going to do is they're like, okay, well, listen, they're not the major player. So put the cheap crap in it because surely they're not a multi-million-dollar buyer. We don't care. China does not care about you unless you're spending millions of dollars on them every month. The other thing is, if a factory tells you, oh, yeah, we sell for ADJ and Blizzard and Eternal. No, they don't. And they're lying to you because not one of those factories that actually does it for the major players are going to tell you they do it for the major players. You really think they're going to screw up a major contract? And if you don't think, oh, no, they told me that on the down low. Yeah, kind of like how the guy at the mall says, listen, I really like you. I'm going to give you this cheap piece of crap watch for half off. They tell that to everybody. And Chinese factories are going to tell the same thing. Keep it secret, but we make for this factory. No, they're not going to sit there and ruin their biggest contract for you at all, in no way, shape, or form, okay? Jay-Z's not going to cheat on Beyonce for Honey Boo Boo's mom. Putting that out there. Can that be like the name of the title? Jay-Z's not going to cheat on Beyonce for Mama June. People are like, oh, we're going to watch this video.
This could be great, man. This could be our most watched video ever.
Yeah. Also, Ian, as far as getting discount RAM on AliExpress, please go ahead. I want somebody to find out what happens when you put RAM that sends out and takes in the wrong voltage in your motherboard. If you guys haven't seen it, go see the video where the hackers figure out how to exploit a USB to pretty much catch your computer on fire.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Don't trust anything from AliExpress. Shame on you. Shame on you. You have no right to sit there and complain about the DJ, the bootlegs music, when you're buying bootleg crap yourself. Get the hell out of here with that frou-frou stuff.
Arnoldo, we got to wrap it up. We have been on for an hour here. We have been having some fun, sharing some laughs, telling some stories, and we didn't even get to the chickens.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. And real quick, Roger, it also happened with hard drive manufacturers, but it happened first with RAM, and it was Taiwan. Yes, they have a lot of earthquakes there. Apparently, God is very angry in that region because those poor people, I'm telling you, there's earthquakes every day. And apparently, that's, hey, let's build the most important factories right in this area. Location, location, location. Real estate must be cheap. But I do remember it happening with hard drives, but I remember very unfondly about it happening with RAM.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep, that's for sure. Arnoldo, people want to get in touch with you. What's the best way for them to get in touch?
PayPal.
Let's be subtle here. PayPal.
PayPal. I'm sorry. Listen, you
Point
don't
to
get
an area code and send it.
All right. So, guys, check out masterschoooldances.com. Get my videos. They will change your life. And I will send you a picture of a puppy since we're all talking about puppies in the comments section. But now, so just masterschoooldances.com. You can also just find me on Facebook. If it takes me forever to reply, it's not because I don't love you, but it's because I'm in the middle of prom season and I like that income a lot more.
So, in other words, he loves you like second best.
Fourth. Fifth. Oh, wait, no, we have an ice cream truck too. I'm going to tell you right now. I hear the ice cream truck. See ya. No, but not realist. Master School Dances, there is a contact form there. That's honestly the best way to get a hold of me is by email because Facebook, I get so many messages a day, I forget. I honestly do. So email is the best way on there.
The book. You showed the book earlier. Somebody was asking about where they could buy the book.
PayPal. I had a shopping cart system on my stuff, but I said, screw it. I want to take it out because I want people to contact me directly.
Okay.
I want to know a little bit about you and what your business is and how much money you really have to give me. But no, I want to, find out exactly what you're looking for because the book may work for you. It may not be the right thing for you.
Okay.
So whether it's the book or the video, masterschoooldances.com. And if you buy it now, I'll send you this one with a coffee stain on it.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
like a designer.
I think it was like a cappuccino or something like that. I'm just kidding. It was
flavoring
almond.
and smell. Wow. Smell
it had almond milk. Speaking of, show me on an almond because how do you get almond milk?
I haven't gone milking almonds for a while. I'm going to be snipe hunting later, so we'll talk after that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, please go to djntv.com and click on the Insider area. Check out the new Insider area. We've got some educational content there that you have not seen before and you will not see. Only members get to see that. There's going to be some cool stuff there. Arnoldo's links are in the description below. Please check that out. We'll be back tomorrow night with our music show. Thank you for watching.
Remember, only terrorists click thumbs down.
Well, that or that one hater we've got, but that was Now we're back to the beginning of the show. Go rewind, watch that, and you'll be right back up with us. Good night, everyone.
Exactly. Good night.